Well, welcome to the Stone Roadie podcast. It's the one you don't want to miss. It stars Craig Reed, the Stone Roadie, and Griff, the rocket scientist. Let's not forget Kathy Godsey and all the old friends that come along. Lord, we'll be talking Skynyrd and leaving you with a song.
Podcast 104, action. Alrighty then. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Looky here. This is podcast 104 of the STONED Roadie Show. And my name's Craig Reed, the STONED Roadie, and this is my co-host, the rocket scientist, Griff Martin. And like we try to do on every podcast where we have a new donation, we try to take care of these first because we really appreciate all the donations we get. It really helps out those forgotten survivors. And Jack West, he sent in $25, and Jack, that's pretty good. Jack, he broke his back a few years ago, and then he broke it again, and he's been laid up and out of work, and he just felt like he needed to send in something, so he sent $25 into the Stone Roadie Show for our forgotten survivors. He said he's been laid up, and his wife bought him a new iPad, and he's been enjoying the Stone Roadie Show immensely, and we really appreciate that, Jack. And while we're at it, let's go over some of the other ones. I'd say he was number 10 of our new donators, and number 9 was Andreas Host. He hosts Fire Lab over in Germany. He sent in another $150. He sent in $220 on the last go round, and then James Cross, he just sent in $100 here last week, and then my buddy's Mitch Scooby, he sent in $250 here last week, and then Terry Langford, he sent in $50 a little while back, and then Pete Chemo, he sent in $100 here on this round a while back, and then Dave Tate, he sent in a couple $100 here a while back, and then Roger Johnson, he's our third donator that donated this on this go round, and then my friends Don and Marcia, they sent in $1,000 here on this round, and then our old buddy Jesus for Survivors, he sent in $2,000 here on this round. Of course, he sent $3,000 in on the last round, so he's sent in $5,000 so far, and we really appreciate that. That's really kind of you. And he called Jesus for Survivors, he calls Griff and I disciples, so we get a kick out of that. So that winds it up for our donations, and we really appreciate it. And just like Jack, he sent in $25, and he said he wished he could send in some more, but he's been out of work for a while. Jack West, he sent in that last $10 donation, and like I said, we appreciate those large donations, but a whole bunch of those smaller ones like Jack sent in, those really do help out. So those mean as much to us as any. It's like Christmas. It's the thought that counts. But so that's about all I got to talk about here on this pre-show of the Stone Roadie Show. I guess we got about 45 minutes of video coming up, so I'm gonna hand it over to my co-host Griff Martin and let him jibber jabber for a little bit before we start up that video we're going to show you. Here we go.
Yeah, hey, thanks everybody for those donations. It's not too little to donate. Anytime you donate something, it's never too little. $5, man, that'll even work. But yeah, keep the donations coming. Although, like Craig said, we didn't start this to take donations, but you guys insisted, and we appreciate everything that you do as far as sending in the donations, because as you saw, the money, like on the last podcast when Craig was handing out checks, those checks go right to the plane crash survivors, and they really need it. And speaking of that, Brandon Campbell, who is a good friend of the podcast, a good friend of mine, and he made a pretty sizable donation. To me, I actually went to his house and picked up some things, some actual items that he's donated, and I'm going to be trickling those in here and letting you guys see. And Craig and I are going to try to do something here new that we've never done before, and that is auction off some things that we want to get some money for to give to the survivors without going through eBay. And Craig has an email that you guys can email Craig if you see something that you like in the future. And I'm going to show you a couple things that you can email Craig about as far as making a donation and an offer. And his email is thestonedroadie@gmail.com. Isn't that right, Craig?
Yeah, that's right. And did you mention these things that Brandon sent in? These are donations for Mark Howard.
Yeah, for Mark Howard. He specifically said that he wants it to go to Mark Howard because Mark's battling that leg that they had to take off, and he's got to get a leg, an artificial leg, and that's going to be pretty expensive. So Brandon wanted these items that I have that I'm going to show you to the money go to Mark Howard, and we'll make sure that he gets it. So recently I was in the studio with Derek Hess and Barry Lee Harwood, and it was kind of like a secret project on some things that they're doing, and I can't really divulge what that is, but I got to hang out with those guys and spend some time with them, and they signed a guitar for me, which eventually I'm going to auction off. And I've got a couple Rossington Collins backstage passes that Brandon Campbell donated as part of for the proceeds to go to Mark Howard. And here's the backstage, one of the backstage passes. You can see it's got Barry Lee Harwood signed it and Derek Hess. Of course, Barry Lee, he was a member of Rossington Collins and a singer and guitar player, and Derek was a drummer. That's one of them. Here's another one right here. So that's two backstage passes that we're offering up, and a anytime, any place, anywhere Rossington Collins band CD here, or DVD, or whatever you want to call it, that's signed by Derek Hess and Barry Lee Harwood. So Craig, do you want to name a starting bid or something for this, or do you want to just see how high it goes?
Yeah, we'll just check it out. Just have people just write to email me to the StoneRoadie@gmail.com and put in some offers, and but this is something we're just going to try and see if we can't get as much success as we do on eBay, and then not have to pay the 10 or 15% to eBay for handling charges and whatever. So yeah, it's just something we're going to try out here, I guess.
Yeah, so title that in the email to the Rossington Collins backstage passes and CD. And then the other thing that we have that Brandon donated is an original copy of of Ronnie Van Zant's 1966 arrest record. And if you go in here and you look at it, it's got some descriptions of some things in here. It's got Ronald Wayne Van Zant of County of Duval, and it talks about unlawful strike, beat, slap, bruise, wound. Some of the stuff that Ronnie used to like to do. And I think he got off on this because it says at the bottom on the other page, not guilty. So as you can see right there, not guilty. So I don't know, but this is, you can tell it's old. And so this is something that that you might, some of you guys that like the rough side of Ronnie might want to purchase and frame, put on your wall. So yeah, email Craig at the Stoned Roadie at gmail.com if you guys want either the CD or the backstage passes and the arrest record. So that's that.
The judge must have deemed that self-defense or something. Either that or Ronnie was fighting more than one person.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's
fair to give him a not guilty. Maybe Ronnie was fighting more than one person. I don't know.
Yeah, it says not guilty on there, which is kind of weird. Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah, it could have been a self-defense thing. That's the only reason I could think the judge would give you a not guilty.
It says Ronald Wayne Van Zant did then and there unlawfully assault one FV registered junior with his hands and fists and did strike, beat, bruise, and wound. And I don't know why it says not guilty on there, but that's maybe Judy can clear that up or something. So, yeah. So you guys, if you guys are interested in that, I think it's pretty cool that we can try to auction that off at the Stoned Roadie at gmail.com without going through eBay. And that'll save us a little bit of money. So
yeah, if that works out, Cousin Figel sent me a whole bunch of stuff that I have been sitting on trying to figure out how to distribute it. Maybe we'll do that through there. It's a bunch of stuff from the Freebird Foundation, but we'll go way back, and all those newsletters and just stacks of stuff. Magazines and guitar player magazines, all kind of stuff for Cousin Figel sent to me.
Yeah, and Brandon sent me a whole box full of stuff, huge pictures of Alan and Gary and stuff like that. So we're going to slowly go through that stuff and see if we can't get up a nice bundle of cash there for Mark Howard, help him get a new leg. Oh, it's going to be get Mark a new leg for Christmas. Mark's pretty cool because we kind of messed with him a little bit on stage up there, at the monument. And Gene was kind of making fun of his leg and everything, which, he's got a great sense of humor, to be able to joke around about that kind of stuff. It just goes to show you how cool he is. He's got a sense of humor, and and he's a strong dude, man. He's been through a lot, and he really appreciates all this donation. So if we can get him a little bit of cash to help him out, and then at the tail end of this,
he's admitted to me that we've given him $4,000 now. Or, I think that what Gene gave, I think we've given him $4,000 or $5,000. He said, yeah, that's really helped him out immensely.
Yeah, it's probably not even a dent in his bills, but it's better than nothing, that's for sure.
I think he was trying to sell some things to come up with some extra cash right at the time we started giving him money. So he said, man, that was really, really a lifesaver.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys knew, but Gene Odom out the monument, there's a guy who gave Gene a truck, like a I think it was a Colorado, one of those 4-cylinder Colorados, and it's a good looking truck. It's got all kinds of Lynyrd Skynyrd stuff. It's actually on the last video. You can see it. It's like Craig's pointing to his name on the door.
Yeah.
Remember that, Craig?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's got my name on it. It's got all the survivors' names on it. That's cool.
Yeah. So somebody
the Lynyrd Skynyrd tribute truck. Yeah.
Yeah, somebody actually gave Gene that truck. You know, he told him last year. He said, as soon as I get another vehicle, I'll let you have this, Gene. And Gene was like, yeah, whatever, man, whatever. You know, Gene thought he was kidding around, and then the guy shows up at the monument with a truck and hands him the keys. And Gene's biggest problem was trying to get it to his house, and he just got it to his house last weekend. He wanted me to go up there and help him drive it back.
That's a cool truck for Gene to be driving around in. That's a really cool truck.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I was going to go help him bring it back, but I was sick with the flu and I couldn't help him go back and get it. But he's got it back to his house now, so he's all happy. He's got his truck, and you can spot him a mile away with all that Lynyrd Skynyrd stuff on it, on that truck. I mean, you could see it a long way away coming down the road, all that Lynyrd Skynyrd. And then at the end of this podcast, we've got like about 45 minutes of a lot of cool stuff. It's actually a Brian Bodkin videos. I didn't shoot any of it. It's Brian Bodkin. He was a guy that did our Muscle Shoals video podcast back in the day. And he brought his camcorder out and shot a lot of footage because I was so busy getting Craig back at the site. And so Brian shot some video of James Hughes' collection of the plane crash wreckage. And then there's quite a bit of stuff on there with Craig telling stories and talking about some stuff. So you guys want to stick around for that. That's
when me and James Hughes took me over to where the display was for all the airplane crash parts. I think that's where I was telling some stories over there.
Yeah, and there's like a lot of like I think there was a seat cushion in there, and then they had some instruments out of the instrument panel.
Yeah, the magneto, that we were having trouble with the magnetos and the magneto gauges there. That was pretty cool. They were probably tapping on that trying to get it to work.
Yeah, and then there's like a pop out escape door that they have that was there that actually somebody found out in the woods, and it must have been when it first came down and hit the trees, it popped out of the fuselage, and then they didn't find it for like I think a few years or quite a few years later, and then they found it laying in the woods back there, and it's just the whole pop out escape hatch that came out of the fuselage. It was pretty cool. And
you have to be back in there to understand how dense it is back there, how easy something could be lost. It is really thick back there. I mean, right where the plane came to rest, I think that's where it would be hard for a family of raccoons to crawl back through there.
Yeah, it's really thick. And then when we were back there, we had the gators, and we were all back there. And I have a lot of footage that I took that I'll trickle in. There's some more footage that I can put on a podcast of when we were prepping to get ready for Craig to come out there, and that band Six Gun with Zach Lane and Chad, his dad, and had Chad Reed back there, and we were all flying the drone, and so I got a lot of footage of that, which I'll put on another podcast. But at the end of this podcast, it's going to be more of the James Hughes collection at that bed and breakfast, and then Craig's got some stories that he's telling, so that's going to be pretty cool. How's that new engine in your car doing you, Craig?
That was working great. Yeah. Working great. Well, I'm thinking about it to Kathy Godsey. Congratulations for your new granddaughter, Kathy Godsey. We haven't mentioned that on the show yet, so.
Yeah, congratulations, Kathy, for the granddaughter. That's where she was when we were at the monument. I guess she was. Where was it?
I don't think she's gone out there yet. I think
Oh no.
I think she's going out next month or something. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
She's in Colorado.
And also pretty soon we got some great news. We've got Shelby, our Stonette. She's working on some introduction stuff, and she's going to be helping us out with some things. And another thing that we got really cool that we're going to start doing is a Sunday morning acoustic with the band Six Gun. They're going to start cranking out some songs, acoustic songs, and Craig and I won't be any part of that. It'll just be something that we air on Sunday morning for you guys to listen to some acoustic work by the band Six Gun. So that's some pretty cool stuff we got coming up as well. So you guys stay tuned for that. And stay tuned for some more donations too. That's going to be trickling that Brandon gave us. I have a pick too. We could go ahead and try to unload this pick. It's an Alan Collins pick, and Craig says it's not a Mel Bay pick like it says here on this posted note, but it's a 1985.
Well, it doesn't have it isn't one of the older picks. One of those old Mel Bay picks had MB initialed on them, and they quit making those in 1969 or something like that. And then they somebody was making a copy of those, but they didn't have the initials MB on them, but they were exactly the same.
Yeah,
but they quit. But then they quit making those. A few years ago. As a matter of fact, those are the same picks that Gary uses, and from what I understand, when Gary, at the end of Gary's career, he was having a hard time getting any of those. From what I understand, he had to go to using something else because they couldn't find any of those.
Yeah, this was an actual pick that Alan used. It came from the Jacobs Avenue studio, and Craig's going to put a letter of authenticity with all of this stuff. So you've got the pick, you have the arrest record, and the backstage passes and the DVD. Those go together. That goes together, and then the arrest record and then the pick. Those are the three items. So don't mix that up. So you've got the backstage pass with a DVD. That's one item. Then the arrest record. That's the other item. And then you got the pick, which is the other item. That's three items.
I'd like to know if that was his first arrest, 1966. I wonder if that was his first arrest. He would have.
Yeah, it sounds like pretty old. That's 66. That's a long time ago. So
he would have been 66. He would have been around 14, something like that. 15.
Yeah,
16. He was a little older than me, so
I'll have to ask Gene if he remembers anything about this, and then maybe we can get him to come on here, and if he knows something about it, we can get him to explain it. And then you can maybe I'll put that on a jump drive, and you can have that too. So I'll talk to Gene, see if I can't get some more information on this arrest record, because I'm sure Gene, if he wasn't there, he was probably pretty nearby, I would say. Yes, they were both in cahoots back then.
And when we were out at the monument, Steve Lawler was out there, and Steve, he said he would come on the on the show and on a future podcast. So we're looking forward to that. I've been wanting to ask him. I don't really like to ask people to come on, and I didn't know if Steve would come on because he's still working in the business as a promoter. But he goes, yeah, that wouldn't stop me. So,
yeah, he said, he told me he would come on, so that's cool. And I think didn't Derek Hess say he would come on? He told you.
Yeah. I had asked Derek one time before, and he just kind of went, "Oh, I don't have anything to talk about." But I think, I think he's, I think once people saw the show and found out, we're semi okay with doing this. It's
Yeah, and don't let Derek fool you, because I've spent some time with Derek, and he's got some really killer stories. So
oh yeah, he would
he
have some
doesn't
good
think.
ones.
Oh God, if he
With
doesn't think
Rossington Collins, oh my God! I mean,
Yeah.
there's some stories to come out of that time period, and Alan Collins too.
and yeah, and I even talked to Barry Lee a little bit about. He was telling me a story about Craig, and it was actually a birthday cake for somebody, and they were going to cut it Southern style, and Craig said, "Hang around, Barry, because we're getting ready to." This was over in Europe, because we're getting ready to cut this cake Southern style, and Barry was like, "What does that mean?" And so Craig came around behind Ronnie and grabbed a piece of cake and pulled it out of there with his hand and shoved it right in Ronnie's face and grinded it in Ronnie's face. And then he said everybody commenced to throwing birthday cake and wrestling. And then Ronnie slipped on the birthday cake and busted his ass. And he says, "I've never had a man knock me on my ass, but I did have a piece of birthday cake put me on my ass." That was a Barry Lee Harwood story, and I can verify that he told that to me. So I thought that was pretty funny, and I'm sure they've got plenty more where that came from.
We had quite a few cake fights with that band.
Yeah, they call that cutting it Southern style, Craig. Is that what they do?
Yeah, you just chop it like this and
and then just start throwing it and wrestling it and all kinds of shit, huh? Yeah, so anyway, that's about all I got. We got a lot of video to look at. So of these items that we're selling here, I'm kind of curious. So we'll let you guys know what happens with that. And on the next podcast, we'll tell you where we're at with that. And I think probably what we can do is go ahead and award it to the person that had the highest bid on the next podcast, if you want, Craig.
Oh, let's run it for, I don't know, more than 1 week. Let's run it for a couple weeks and see what happens. Since this is our first time, that way next week we can come on and say what the bids have been.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll let you know what's happening on the next podcast. Either way, we'll tell you where it's at and whether we need it to run longer or if we want to go ahead and call it on the next podcast. We'll let you know. So that's all I got, Craig. What do you got? Anything else?
No, we might as well just go ahead and go right into this video. It's about 45 minutes, so that'll
quite a bit of video.
Podcast a little over an hour. That'll be sufficient, in my opinion. So
yeah, and it's a really good footage. So you guys stick around and watch it. And Craig will be at the end of the video. He kind of comes in right at the end, and he's telling some cool stories. So hang around for that. All right, Craig. Well,
all righty then. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to podcast 104 of the Stone Roadie Show, starring Craig Reed, the Stone Roadie, and Griff, the Rocket Scientist. And happy trails to you until we meet again. And here comes the video.
It was a general store built in 1880, and it had a feed mill across the street. But then it's owned this store when it was a general store and feed mill. This was a large.
Can you read that?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. See how wide this picture is? It has a tractor tire in it. Mm-hmm. And you actually can see Nita Laverday in this picture. Well, the girl blew it up. You lose Nita Laverday. This is my father. And this is Nita Laverday, Channel 9 News, and this is the news. He's a cameraman.
Okay.
And My dad came as a first responder with his brother Floyd Hughes. My dad's Henry Hughes. They got there a little later. When they got there, it was still dark, light in the wood out in the field, but it was dark in the woods. And they went in as soon as they got to the crash site. Go get the stretchers off the helicopter. So they turned around and went all the way back out to the field to get stretchers, and then they come back in and brought the stretchers. And people took the stretchers away from them and used them for the live people to move out. And a little while later, they hung out there for a little while, and then eventually, Uncle Floyd and Dad carried Dean and Ronnie out to the truck.
Oh, okay.
And Dean and Ronnie and Steve were put in a truck and taken to Macomb. And just so happens, the picture over there, since Dennis owned this place, that's Dennis's truck right there, right in front of the door. It's got a different bed on it, but that's his 77 GMC that carried Ronnie into the hospital. Well, they had a makeshift board in the side of the hospital. And this is just stuff there, sir.
You talking about the big picture?
Yeah, the big picture with the GMC, the truck with the wood bed on the front. This is just memorabilia of mine. But all the rest of the stuff is plain parts. You'll recognize some of it.
Okay. How long? Yeah, I mean, you have it set up here just for this?
Just for that.
And you take it back home?
I'll put it in the storage tonight.
Okay.
This afternoon.
Oh, I'm glad we made it today. We were like sweating. Are you gonna make it? We're gonna make it.
Enjoy. $5 each. And thank you. I'd like for you to sign your name and
I said because just throw it like I said, I know
later today.
they didn't know nothing about it, so.
And I'll call you and I'll get your address and I'll text you.
Yeah.
I'll move fairly reasonably fast. And I'll get you taken care of. Thank you.
I had my ticket though. Yeah, she held on to her ticket. I was going.
Yeah. It's worth something.
Yeah, I know, that's what he said, yeah. Matter of fact, he made me an offer.
You don't
Or
have
he
to
asked me
take the
what I
phone,
wanted
be fine.
for it.
You got a good phone number I can reach you with?
I said, well, in 4 years, it'll be the 50th anniversary, so, I don't know. He gave me his phone number.
Yeah, we make all kinds of, we walked in yesterday, okay?
We had some people that came yesterday.
Yeah, they had a lot of people.
Oh, yeah, we went.
We was gonna come yesterday, but we saw it was at till 2:30, and we were still over there. Yeah, we probably didn't make it.
Yeah, we closed at 2:30, so we could go see them.
Yeah.
We went. But we sat by the trees. My husband walks when he came and he couldn't go. There were so many people.
I know.
So we sat by the
Oh,
trees
yeah, there was a lot of money.
and we watched them do it. But,
Sir, here's your
we couldn't
ticket.
just keep going.
I'd like to use your phone number.
We would
your name
all-
on it
we
so
should
I can
all
call you.
chairs.
All right, I'm doing it.
But we did. We brought ours.
And so we really did.
Yeah, stamps.
Thank you much.
I get a little bit of everything. I'm burning through
Okay,
so fast.
so we don't, do we have to be classy?
This is just memorabilia right here. So it's later today, and the rest of it's all plane parts.
What is the coin for?
They came from the plane while it was in the woods. While my uncles and my father gardened.
Whoever.
Well, when the NTSB inspected stuff, they threw it out the window. They threw it out on the ground. They picked it up.
Oh, okay.
Now, the antenna right there doesn't belong to me, but it was picked up the night of the crash by a local person in the area. And
It
no
was
one.
nice talking to you.
Same way with the door, the window, the escape hatch window back there.
Yes.
I'm like, you may know there's just phone.
You look at it, just a good phone number.
The only one I got.
Had some Artimus, but-
So that's, NTSB.
I got rid of them all.
They didn't leave everything, they just left a bunch of stuff on the ground, and then while they guarded, they picked it up. Small parts. My people were mechanics, so they brought stuff on and they rebuilt it.
Elvis Presley.
I that stuff got moved later on and taken to Brookhaven, Mississippi, stayed up there at a welding shop in Florida. From 77 to around 85 or 86, and it was sold for scrap. Yep.
I got about 18.
Where's Armageddon? I remember that.
Were you one of the kids that played on went to go look at?
I didn't get to go.
Well, you got to understand, when you in 77, you were a kid. That's right.
I graduated, I got my ticket for the concert.
These on the porch. Yeah.
There's pictures on the internet every now and then it pops up that
On the internet?
yeah, there's a few pictures of I'll show you.
Tickets?
No ma'am, the plane.
Oh.
Okay. Here we go. These are Brookhaven people. That's part of the plane. And then that one.
This is one of the seats they were sitting in.
And that one. Only 3 pictures I have. Somebody posted these on Facebook a while back. You drove a car or drank a closed screen door or drank a beer out of the aluminum it's made out of. He got scrapped in the 80s. He got scrapped in the 80s. Yeah, lights, man. You can move that picture over there if you would like
Oh, okay, thank you.
to get a better picture of it. Yeah, my people were mechanics, so they brought home mechanical stuff they could reuse, like the holes in these gauges, like the missing toggle switches. They were used on cars, repurposed on cars. The toggle switch that was right here was the toggle switch I used in my car to turn my car.
Oh, they.
And left it in the car when I was a kid.
Didn't think nothing about it back then.
Well, that was, yeah, like 1993 or 4 when I sold my car. And I didn't think about it, but when I was a teenager, I had it in there. Had an old black man had given me some horns. It was Fifth Symphony. He got rid of those horns to put in the Dixie horns. You know, the Dixie. So the horns I had would go dun 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 dun.
Hey, how you doing?
You gonna let Big in?
He finally made it.
Big and he finally made it.
Hey, man, yeah, what's up? I didn't know what time was you gonna close today.
2:30.
Okay, I didn't know, man, look at that old character. Dang, I need my glasses. Hang on,
No, you want?
what? They just,
Won't you just let that old woman, let this young lady do it for you? Got you one?
Yes, I already did one.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes, I got one.
Mama, this is Daylene.
Well, I didn't know this was Mama. You're responsible for that?
I'm
sorry.
Did this up years ago.
Nice to meet you.
She and I went,
Kinda like him.
we went to,
You do? Yeah. Oh, that's good.
she and I and Christina went to Jacksonville like a couple years ago. Remember when I went to Jacksonville? She went with us. She's Daylene.
Good time.
Shag carpet, carpet came from the plane.
oh, I thought they won't eat much.
Nope, don't eat it.
Do I get it?
Here,
Oh, what, we gonna have a drawer?
you can go get something later.
Actually, one,
Was on the plane just before 17. So most of them.
Is this just a collection of books?
She's gonna open the stove.
Is she?
She had, she was sleeping on the porch when it was hot.
One out of 10.
No, she didn't. You saw the Wayne's door. This is a different, this is an escape window. The Wayne's got a door, it's bigger. I believe it's different.
Actually,
Because this one belongs to
this is
somebody
small.
else.
This is
Yeah,
smaller.
Yeah, this one belongs to a different person. I left some alone because I like left behind.
Yes. Something, and so, stuff, that's good. And and she said that she has a bed back there she used as a bed. And they put all her apartments and opening up the food or something. She ain't done all that shit. So.
That's a still shot from Craig Reed's videos.
Oh, okay.
That you would have seen on the VH1 Behind the Music. You would have seen that same video on If I Leave Here Tomorrow, the Freebird movie. Oh goodness, half of just about everybody.
Can we do videos and pictures or
just about
Pictures,
anything?
you could take pictures.
the still shots, not videos?
Video then.
I saw that.
This is.
She's actually, there's a video of her, she's playing around.
Yeah.
That shirt of hers has a big collar, and she actually opens it up and throws it over her shoulder, and she's playing around with it, and she throws it over her shoulder, and she's looking at it like this, and one of the videos I seen
What they
there.
look like.
Yeah.
So. This is.
The map,
This guy.
if you've seen videos, you'll see Artimus running down the hall.
I wouldn't trust that guy if I were you.
Back
I don't
and
know.
Greg in the video.
I'm just
Looks
kidding.
back, he's right there.
I don't know.
His wall.
You can tell by this video.
Here's the map on the wall, and Craig's running down there, and Artemis looks back like this, and the map is sitting right here. That's the map.
And
Okay.
And if you look in the picture with Cassie, there's a map outlined on right beside the. That was a world map that had the world on it, and that one got destroyed during the crash. Because it was actually lower to the ground. You see how it's lower? This one would have been at shoulder level where hers.
Oh,
That's the map.
Gotcha.
So it's at lower level. It's actually probably about that much lower than the other one would have been.
Right.
And when everybody went forward, it got tore up.
Wow. Hope you have more copies of that picture.
Oh, I gotta go. It's easy to make.
Did you guys happen to get down to the Palace Theater last night with some tunes?
This is all that.
That's awesome.
That's Lisbon.
I know.
Which is right outside of
I've been there.
Got the straight level, I mean, it's straight up there, Bronx. I don't know where that's at.
I know the funeral was, they had four,
But that's all
I
that's
could
left.
only hang out long enough for two. I had to go.
Were they
It was
normally
good. It
live
was
on
real
any
good. They
crash, or is it because Ronnie
well, a couple of really fine guitar players.
shot all those little pieces?
I live 10 miles from the crash site.
You got that. Yeah.
I mean,
Because I wouldn't think that the authorities would.
oh, no.
That's cool. That makes it even cool.
I actually found them 3 pieces this year.
You found them this year?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which street did you find? Which 3 pieces did you find this year?
Oh, just some little pieces
Oh.
of map that was on top of the ground.
Ah,
They're not buried yet. After all these years, rain and whatever else weather you get.
Well, I can tell you like they say on the internet, them hogs out there, they would be rooting up stuff.
There you go, them old hogs. Them hogs rooting around there is what John Wayne said. They couldn't move.
He was playing poker. Mark Howard was actually sitting in the aisle seat by the table, and Craig gets on the plane and says, "Move over." So Mark moves over. Now Mark's by the window, and Craig's right here. Can't remember who the other 2 people were. Craig mentioned it the other day in conversation. But Mark, the plane's crashing, Artemis Powell goes back to the back, tells everybody to get down, get ready, get back. And everybody went to praying and shit. And Mark goes, somebody at the table goes, "Get the chips." And Mark thought about it for a second. He goes, "I thought about it for a second. I had me a handful of chips. I grabbed them chips, stood up and said, 'Fuck
these chips.
Back in the day, I'm gonna tell you something I remember about my mom.
I love that story.
Yeah,
I talked to him for a little bit and Craig Reed
Yeah,
yesterday.
a lot of people think they were playing with. They did play with coins, but the night it crashed, they were playing with chips.
Well, I remember before cars had seats.
They were playing with chips that night.
Would you be able to get a signal to send
In a minute, when I go outside, what's the number?
You know what? That's
651.
If I got.
Now I can go watch this, and I'll go outside. Yeah, I need to finish my
Don't
You know what?
forget, what's your name?
James Hughes.
James?
Just
I gotta ask you about this 45 here.
Which one?
Michelle from 1968.
I used to tell him,
Oh,
don't talk to strangers. So one day he was in the store here, we were in the store, and I was like,
He goes, where John Lennon goes? He went across the street with one of your roadies.
Awesome.
I sat there, I was sitting there eating breakfast with him. I wasn't sitting right beside, but everybody was looking at me like, wonder who that guy is, you know?
Right.
You know, eating breakfast with John Lennon. It was
It
hilarious.
is crazy, boy.
But that was when the Eagles were recording their second album, and all those guys. I played pinball with all those guys at the record plant.
Yeah.
It's a great experience.
I'll bet. Oh yeah, well I mean your life changed, man. I mean,
Oh my God, yeah.
Just-
I couldn't imagine I've done anything else. It was
No.
pretty wild.
No, I hear.
Yeah, didn't make a lot of money, but had a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. It's,
From what I can remember.
you know, it's. I mean, they were just.
I drank enough whiskey to throw the battleship around.
But man,
Bulletproof back in the teenager days.
Oh, 22, yeah.
You were 22.
I was trying to play when I was 26, yeah.
they were.
Yeah.
Boy, they were headed for the top, man. They were going.
Oh my God,
so
yeah.
huge. I mean, they were big.
It was crazy.
They were big. You're not in a hurry. You know the story. Not in a hurry, but it's once they got someone to finally sign and do the muscle shoals and all, you know. I mean, it was.
Yeah, and I had my cameras with me, but I had been filming for a couple tours before that, and I just, wasn't really filming, Just had everything like developed and everything and put all together, and then went on that tour. And,
There's a. Well, one of my favorite Ronnie shirts is "Who the fuck are the Rolling Stones anyway?" And I mean, over at Nebworth when they walked out on the tongue there.
Yeah, we had to get there 3 days early because there were so many people. They said, "Man, you got to be here with the truck and the equipment at a certain time, because after that we can't get you in."
Yeah.
So we had to be there. After that, it was like a big campground, man. I mean, they had all these hippies had these great big teepees and stuff set up. It was crazy. We had everybody had to get in with it by helicopter. After all the equipment got in, the only way in.
That had to be a crazy experience.
Yeah.
Nebworth. I mean, a lot of crazy experiences, but Nebworth was.
That was a wild one, yeah. Sedalia, Missouri was another wild one. There was about 500,000 people there too. There was like 3 stages, and Wolfman Jack came out, right when Skynyrd was coming on to show me your bottles, and about 1 million bottles. I wanted to kill that bastard.
Breaking all over the stage.
Oh, it was a mess. Show me your bottles. All over the stage. It was a mess.
Well, they had 3 stages there, so they
3 stages. They had one here like this, and one band would play, and then that band would tear down, and then this would be set up. Yeah, there was 3 different stages, all at once. And that was nonstop.
The 75 and 76, when I saw them up in Minnesota, it was indoors. And I was hoping the day would come to be able to see a stadium show.
It was crazy. Those were just.
It's they did the Coliseum, Nebworth. How many? Well, they were starting to do quite a few stadium
shows.
They did, yeah, oh yeah, they did the Orange Bowl and oh yeah, all kind of. Oh, we did, you know, Day on the Green, and we did all those things out in California with Peter Frampton, you know. Skynyrd shows Frampton the way, and Skynyrd dethrones God, and all kind. When they played with Clapton, that was crazy. When they played with Clapton, Gary and Alan were like, couldn't wait to see Eric Clapton. And when he played, he was during a part where he was all messed up, you know, and he couldn't hardly play it. His guitar player that was with him was playing all of his parts, and Gary and Alan were like, they were really bummed out, you know. But after he got straightened out, I don't know.
Yeah.
The Day on the Green had to be a wonderful day.
Oh, all those
It
Bill
had to
Graham
be.
shows, all those Bill Graham things.
That was the Coliseum, the Day on the Green. That was that was
The video, you know, the Pepsi videos were pretty cool. They only, 3 songs? But if you watch all of them, there's only one girl in the whole crowd that is totally not enjoying herself. She's the only person propped up just like this. Everybody else is losing their mind, girls on shoulders and just everything, and every girl's just jumping and bouncing and having a great time. But they pan the camera around up in the front, and she's in the front row.
She looks like it.
And she's like,
she looks pissed.
She looks pissed. I don't know. There was one chick in the whole crowd. I mean, you're talking about how many people were there? Tens of thousands?
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
That's the cute part about watching it. She's like, that she's just not like Lynyrd Skynyrd or something. What? Somebody pissed at her Cheerios bad. It was
But
funny.
the way they explain it, you know, they say, well, when they were going to this stage, you know, to do a show, it was like being with a WWE wrestler or something. It was like, you know, it's just, you know,
yeah, you're in the video. You're back in the back.
Seek and destroy, you know. It was like, you know. But that was true, man. It was like when they went out there, they wanted to kick ass, man. Hit him with the left, hit him with the right, kick him in the nuts, and drop him.
Well, I like that part about Ronnie's attitude. If he actually did that, he said, "Look, I don't care we're headlining for. We're going to be better than the headliner."
Oh yeah,
that was his drive.
But Ronnie always said, insisted that you treat opening acts with total respect, because he said, you never know, someday we might be opening up for them, man.
Right.
He says, overnight, you know, you never know. You know, it's the way it is, man. It's one day.
Now,
That's what Skynyrd was when they started out. They opened up for Wet Willie, you know,
Right.
you know, and all Grinder Switch and all those bands like that. You know, it wasn't long before the role was reversed, you know.
Right.
I can imagine when they were open. I was just too little to enjoy it, but when they got on the tour with the Who,
Oh yeah.
loved to have seen the show. But
Yeah, that was a strange thing where Al Cooper just ran into I forget which one
was
of
it a
them.
promoter or somebody?
No, it was
Peter Townsend.
Pete Townsend, yeah, exactly, yeah. Pete Townsend said, well, we're looking for open bed. I said, I got one for you here. You know, I mean, just seems like things happen just.
And by the time
It says sometimes it's just too coincidental to be a coincidence, you know. I mean, it's just like out of the, just like me getting hired with a band. It's just too much of a coincidence to be a coincidence, you know.
Right.
It's funny.
How much truth is there to the rumor about the Who saying you gotta go, you're stepping on our parade, so to speak?
Oh, I don't know, but I do know Led Zeppelin refused to have Skynyrd as an opener.
Okay.
I do know that.
Right.
I know they had Grand Funk opening for a while, and they went, no more. When Grand Funk was going, busting out wild, you know. I guess it was around the time they did that live album in Georgia, and they recorded the live album there. There's a lot of artists over there where Zeppelin goes, nah, they're not openings for us anymore. They're just too good.
Yeah, first time I saw him in '75, it was Skynyrd, Charlie Daniels, and the Outlaws.
Oh yeah.
And you just
without Skynyrd, the Outlaws would have never did anything.
Well,
either,
yeah,
they were at Richards, and Ronnie liked the Outlaw, kind of liked their attitude, and helped promote them to where they were. A lot of bands like that. Ronnie, there's a lot of bands in Florida that would questionable if they would took that next stop if it wouldn't have been for Skynyrd, in my opinion.
Not have been able.
Yeah, at 38, you don't know. I mean, because Skynyrd was just a shot in the dark coming out of Jacksonville. Without that, 38 and Outlaws and a lot of those bands.
I was good friends with Banner Thomas, and he told me when Ronnie stepped in to help Molly Hatchet that I guess they went to the studio at Riverside, and Banner said he got there early and he opened the door and there was Ronnie cleaning the floor with a broom. and he said that just blew his mind that Ronnie was, he said that was the first time he met him, and then a little bit later was the crash. And like I said, when I was working with Leslie Hawkins, she told me tons of stories about cruise, all the tours he did going to Japan, and she was talking about Ronnie when they got done with that tour. She was going to make a solo album, and Ronnie was going to help her produce it, but never got a chance to happen.
Yeah.
So she was awesome.
Did you get to see Mick Jagger after Knobworth when Skynyrd walked off the stage?
He was in the dressing room. Yeah.
So what did he have to say?
I don't really remember. There were so many people in the dressing room. Jack Nicholson was in there. That was so cool. Jack Nicholson. We were smoking pot with Jack Nicholson. He took a hit and he said, and there they went, flying in formation, like Easy Rider.
He's such a trip.
He was so cool, man.
It
was just like you see him in the movies. He don't even act. That's just the way he is. It's great.
That is really cool. It's the stories are probably just endless,
Oh my God, I wish I could remember a lot of them.
From kind of a condensed period of time.
I mean, you're doing really good. I'm hearing stuff I've never heard about. So
oh God, I partied so much, man. Jesus, I did. I was a mess.
Oh, I was too.
But I was right with the band. I mean, what the band was doing, I was doing.
Hey, you got to be part of the game, man.
Yeah. Well, we were all like drug buddies,
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. I copped most of the drugs for them. I think that's why they hired me, because I was like a street person, and I could go out and find whatever they needed.
You worked anybody.
Yeah, I'd go out in the crowd. I'd go out in the crowd. I'd come back with something.
Back in those days, it was all good.
Oh yeah,
all good and all safe.
When bands were opening up for big time bands, that's what you do, man. You stick around after you play. You stick around and party.
Absolutely.
I was the entertainment director, and then Dean, God, yeah, me and Dean, doing it tag team in it. Oh God, yeah, we came up with some good stuff. Dean, he would come up to me during the show and he goes, "Open your mouth," and I goes, "What is it?" And he goes, "Surprise!" And I knew whatever it was going to kill. I knew it wasn't going to kill me, but I didn't know if I was going up, down, or sideways.
We'll find out. Yeah, back in those days, it was all mostly safe. Nowadays, it's just
you'd be tripping.
Everything now is all artificial.
Might kill you nowadays.
Not all of it was the best. You find good stuff, but now it's not going to kill you. I mean, back then it ain't going to kill you.
Now you got to worry about fentanyl and all that.
Oh God, yeah. We were down in Jacksonville doing that Rocking for a Reason, and we found some cocaine, and I was kind of questionable, but I knew who it come from. I don't do that often, only when I can get it.
No,
Not often, only when
yeah, only when I get it.
I can't find it very often.
It's too much work to find. Yeah, no,
How have you enjoyed being down here?
Man, it's,
How
you
is
know
the
what? I
monument
thought about it. It's been really cool because I was like really not into doing this, you know, for 45 years.
Right.
You know? I mean, I didn't come down here and do it, you know, until they put my name in print, and I, you know, now I'm somebody. You know, but somebody said last night that you know they'd heard that Johnny just didn't give a shit about this place at all, you know.
That's what I've heard.
you know, and it's fine.
And I felt kind of like the same way, so I can't, you know, but I don't know. At the same time, when I heard they were gonna try to come up with the money for a statue, you know, if I'd have made as much money off of this band as some of them have, I'd have put up 50 grand for a stinking statue.
That's
know,
right.
But
Exactly.
I think that's kind of why some of them don't want anything to do with this. They don't want to come off with any money.
Well, see, whenever I heard you were going to do a convoy, the convoy was announced far longer before Brandon got in charge of the monument to do the new thing. And that was all before. So I was already putting this together, already in my head. Craig's coming for the first time on a convoy, bringing folks. I'm going to do this for Craig. And honestly,
that all fell apart at the last minute.
The convoy may have fallen apart, but I have worked hard to organize to get this building from that girl to let me borrow it, rent it from her, and get all this stuff done, all the tags and stuff. Because the first time I did it was on the 19th. In 2019, when they dedicated the monument in Brownsville. You know Mike Brown, you may have met him, the boy from North Mississippi. He had a little bit of stuff. He said, well, let's display it. So we just displayed it at my uncle's shop, and only about 60 people came out to the shop in 2 days to see it. But it ended up on, Tom Wills came and ended up on the documentary that The Legacy of Skynyrd, Legacy of Lynyrd Skynyrd. And it got shown, but I've not shown it to another soul. And I said, well, if Craig's coming, and so no lip service involved at all. This was done for you. I'm happy you're here.
There's a lot of people, man. It blows me because I was just a roadie on the plane that got high with a band. But people, God, think I'm some kind of a legend or something.
Oh no, I mean you were seriously just a guy on a band and work with a band.
I freaking signed so many autographs yesterday.
Yeah.
My God, I signed some shoes.
Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep token until then.